Well, hi there, my lovely. I am dressed like a Care Bear yet again. Just went out with my niece and nephews and they went trick-or-treating, and so I'm dressed like a Care Bear. But anyways, this is in regards to what is happening right now with Beyond Duality. Now, this is something that I've considered making on multiple occasions, but then I've thought twice about it. But now that it's out in the public again, I feel like it needs to be addressed. What I'm going to speak on is what I know. A few years ago, I worked with Beyond Duality, and if you've been following me for a while, you know that. I was very public about it. I let you guys know that on my page. I was very supportive of them. I was gung-ho because the fight against human trafficking is something that I am very passionate about. I believed Cassiopeia, hook, line, and sinker. I believed her stories. I believed the horror that she went through. And that caused some serious unrest in my soul. We'll just put it that way. Now, I never met Cassiopeia face to face. We had multiple conversations on the phone. We had multiple conversations through text and multiple interactions via email and TikTok. At this point in time, she was clinging on to Megan Walsh's story. And because I was so familiar with Megan Walsh's dad, John Walsh, that was just something that was a big part of my childhood as well, like this big memory in my childhood, John Walsh was. And so I found this piece to be compelling as well. But the more you listen to her, the more she talks, the more things begin to not make sense. And I pay attention. And when it's really important, I take notes. Because sometimes I forget. And so I took notes. Cassiopeia ended up getting into an altercation with a large creator, a verbal one, and it was over a phone call, something of that nature. I'm still in contact with the larger creator. She asked me not to speak her name, so I will not be doing that. But once this occurred, I started to reach out to a few more people who were working with Cassiopeia at the time, and we started to talk amongst each other. And then the investigation ensued. There were 5 of us, investigating at one point. And we found a lot. There are newspaper clippings, photographs, family, close family, that all say that her story is not true. There's birth certificates, and then of course there are other people that knew her as well. So once I find out that the base story, the original story that I was told, the horror that I was fed, the absolute traumatic base story was not true, then everything else began to unravel. Because if someone tells you who they are, and they are lying about that very basic foundation, you should not trust that they are going to do anything they tell you they will do, because they can't even tell you the truth about who they are. Now, I will say, Cassiopeia has admittedly recently said that she struggles with, or that she has, dissociative identity disorder. So I don't know if that is the cause of these lies that she has told, or if that is the cause of this horrible world that she has built in her mind. I am sure that there was some trauma there, but the trauma that she puts out to the world is not true. It's not. And I feel some kind of way saying that, because I feel like a normal person would never claim these horrific things to be true if they weren't. But they just aren't. So then you have to go through and piece things out and try to figure out what part is true and what little fragment may be the truth. And that's just not something I am interested in doing. Once we went from there, I started to have a conversation with another person who was working with her. They were talking about going on a run. Now, this person said that, this is alleged, that they were having a conversation, and Cassiopeia says, "We are going to rescue these children, and you can take some home for yourself and raise them." Like giving someone a puppy. So, in regards to these rescue situations, let's just throw one out there. Like the Disney rescue that happened. Nope. That was not true. That was not Cassiopeia and Brittany going in and saving the day and rescuing children. That was not true. Even according to the park, that was not true. And there are so many other stories that just are not true. So, I think they deserve compassion. I think they are very broken women who need Jesus. I become frustrated when I see the name of God thrown around and used during times when it's beneficial to them, and misused and abused during other times when they're going on their rants. These women need serious psychological help. And that's all I am going to say publicly. And hopefully I don't have to address this again. I desperately hope that they both get the help that they need. And I don't mean that snarky. I mean that very seriously. Because Brittany has children. They all live on the same compound with these children. And those children need a healthy mom and a healthy grandma.